erratic nature of Tate case continues to get. I mean, I thought I'd heard everything that I needed to hear. You guys know that I'm not a fan of Andrew Tate. I never have been. I'm quite resolute on the fact that I've been consistent. So this isn't a case of bandwagon jumping. You can go back even on this channel where I don't really like to talk about stuff like that. I have previously expressed openly my dislike for Andrew Tate. I don't like his misogyny is an understatement. I don't like his clearly borderline rapacious views that he sells. I don't like the victim mentality he tries to push in the male community and turns them all into flaming, raging, misogynist and closet, closet rapacious actors, if you know what I mean. He turns them all into that. And I just don't like anything about him. I don't think there's any positive human attributes that he espouses that people should try to emulate. And so I did a live stream about him maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, just so I could show to everybody that, because there was still that kind of pervading idea that these were trumped up charges, they were unjust, and he shouldn't be facing any prison sentences. An attack from the Matrix on the innocent Andrew Tate. It's an attack from the Matrix because of my political affiliations, because I tell the truth, even though he tells nothing and teaches nothing. All he does is, he's just a rampant capitalist who who promotes that wealth is everything. And as much as I appreciate the transformative ability that gaining wealth has for one's individual progress and success, and actually happiness, it can lead to some happiness. What he then encourages people to do with that wealth, to use that wealth to manipulate people, to become womanizers, to treat women like objects, to save yourself for only the youngest most innocent undefiled children, as opposed to actually courting women your own age, or at least in and around your age, or at least well above the age of legality. He likes to skirt that line of, and this is why he's got himself in a load of trouble there. But it turns out, in spite of all of the crimes he's openly admitted, to, let's be clear, all the crimes that he's self-snitched and openly admitted that he has actually committed, that's very, very clear. He's openly committed. I mean, openly confessed that he's trafficked women. He's taken their means. He's taken their money. He's made them feel entrapped. He's passed them around. He's slept with them. He's done X, Y, and Z. So he's done this whole massive litany of crimes which do fit under trafficking laws. So he's openly, admitted that he's of the Epstein class. On top of that, he's sought after and almost confessed, from what we can hear, that he's made a habit out of sleeping with underage girls, because he is in jurisdictions where he doesn't know what the age limit is, and he always likes the youngest. And over here in the UK, for instance, it's 16, and he openly states that he was with his current girlfriend for 6 years when she was 21, which means he met her when she was 15. So load of that nonsense going on. So in addition to that, there's now some more stuff that he's been accused of, which I just thought, I was watching through this video and I thought, let me do a live stream so I can kind of so I don't really know what's coming at the end of this video, but I watched through the first 10 minutes of it and I thought, no, I prefer to watch this as a live stream, have a bit of content at the end of it, have a bit of a reaction with you guys. So before we go on, obviously the themes in this video, for an open warning, are going to be very distasteful for some of you. and that's totally understandable. We're talking about Andrew Tate, so we're essentially talking about a predator. Okay, so this is going to have predatory themes, and One Love Soldier said it's too early for the Tate Bros for me. I totally feel you. So if you feel like you're going to be, triggered by having discussing this topic or even hearing this topic discussed, then just click off. Obviously, I'm giving you advanced warning now. This is going to be triggering, but I just thought it'd be quite interesting to watch through, because from the title of the video, which is Andrew Tate Might Have a Body, you can imagine I was relatively shocked. And it's at this point where the charges piled up on top of one another. Although he hasn't been charged with this might come later. But as the charges pile up, people, it's got to be your first instinct, particularly as a black male, and kind of like living in this COINTELPRO anti-black false flag world where trumped up charges against black people are a very real thing, and trumped up charges against people who are opposed to the political mainstream. That we've seen this happen. We've seen it happen to many of our heroes, where they're thrown under a bus and the community's not there to support them. I'm not going to say which of our more elder black members who have been targeted by trumped up charges, what I believe to be trumped up charges, and I'm gonna stand on business and say that I don't think many of them were guilty. They've just kind of get tried in the court of public, what's the phrase again, court of public, public opinion or something like that. I can't remember the phrase, but they get tried in a court of public opinion, and then as a result of that, they're cast as, yeah, you're guilty. But that's not the case with Tate. He's done the self-snitching. Okay, we don't have to look too deep. Okay, court of public opinion, is that the phrase? Why does that sound incomplete? Anyway, regardless of that, when it comes to Tate, it's not the case. Okay, it's not the case. Like, he just snitches on himself about everything that he's done. He says, yeah, I did that. And not only did he snitch on it, he teaches other people how to do it. And he puts it in a course and makes more money from it. So he's not made enough money stealing all this money from these women who he's trafficked and entrapped. He's then, on top of that, took that, said, hey, we got a good formula here. We can sell it to our crowd, buy more Bugattis. Yeah. And then sounds like a Julian Assange, for instance, someone who I think the general public, me including myself, thinks, you guys just sound like you're coming for the dude because you didn't like what he did. A Snowden, people who actually have honor and did something good for the general public, released information that we all benefited from. And actually, the Julian Assange and the Snowden, whistleblowing scandals where they released all of that information was a large part of the enlightening of the general public about the illicit nature of government and the illicit nature of war. So we all take it for granted now that we know that, oh yeah, war is evil, this is evil, that's evil, blah, 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 blah. We all take it for granted that is just like the common knowledge now. But it actually took brave people to expose some of the really evil things that were being done and put it out in the open for people to now be able to confidently and strongly oppose wars of Western aggression. So Andrew Tate obviously hasn't done any of that. And he's getting these list of crimes that sound like they're made up. But the problem is, for every single crime, he's got a confession. This is the problem. So I'm sorry, there's not going to be any hero's journey for Andrew Tate in this case. Yeah, this is just going to be, he needs to go on trial and then he can present his defense. But at the moment, I think there's nothing unjust about the way he's being treated. So let's get into this. Andrew Tate Might Have a Body, video by Trap More Ross, but it's quite interesting. So let's get in. I'm going to speed it up actually because it's half an hour long. So it's speed. By the way, guys, when it starts playing, for the 10 or 12 or so of you that are in the chat, I'll just ask that you just put a 1 to let me know that the audio is good. Okay. And then we'll We'll hit play if it lets me.
So every day that goes by, there becomes just a new dump of Andrew Tate snitching on himself. Now, the guy had his own pimping hose degree, the PhD course, all right? You know pimping is illegal, right? You know, especially in the UK, you know pimping is illegal. This guy told on himself at every turn. So you might have seen 1 or 2 videos that I've already done over the past week or so, week or two, about Andrew Tate basically telling on himself a bunch. Well, in this video, I'm going to go over the latest enormous batch of Andrew Tate snitching on himself clips and moments and just really embarrassing things. And we're now hearing that apparently there might be a murder involved in this situation.
Shout out Leg Tavel. Appreciate that feedback. So I know that the audio is working. He used to had a course like you just said there called a PhD, a pimping hose degree. That's self snitch again. It's kind of like anyway. And then he just mentioned there that there might be a body. So let's carry on. And I wouldn't be surprised once again because of the nature of how when you get to a certain stage where you've had all of the desires fulfilled and you start expressing an appetite for weird fetishes, it does lead down a very similar road for a lot of these rich and powerful people where they do something quite heinous. See, if you don't control, if you don't exercise some kind of limits and constraints to your behavior, then what happens is they just cascade and get worse and worse down the line. And by the way, I don't want to come across as some moralist. I hate that. You notice that I avoid moralism on my channels. Yeah, I do avoid moralism. I'm not trying to act like I'm some morally or moral superior to any people, because I don't want people to start tuning into me like I'm some kind of like, hey, everybody emulate me. I'm not a guru. I'm not an Andrew Tate. I'm just someone who presents. I like to present history and I like to present commentary. Okay. I don't like to present like I'm better than anybody else. So I want to make that very, very clear. But I will obviously call out when I see something that is, first of all, obviously damaging to our community. That's something that I will go gung-ho about. And then on top of that, you know, people who like to feign as though they are giving something positive and as though they are exposing something or they're against something, and then they literally do the exact opposite and they're for everything they claim that they're against. And Andrew Tate is right at the top of the list of that kind of hypocrisy, where he says, hey, I'm freeing and liberating people, and he's doing the exact opposite. He's hooking everyone he's saying he's going to free, he's getting them hooked, and then teaching other people how to get them hooked on corn and hooked on things that are going to destroy their lives and making money from it. So everything he says he stands for, he literally does the opposite. He's a part of this completely, you know, paradoxical world that we currently live in.
Andrew Tate's bottom bitch, all right, that girl Vivian, who allegedly was underage when he trafficked her all the way over to Romania from some random country in Eastern Europe, he's denying that that's what was going down. But it sounds like a lot of the charges and accusations against him are related to, you know, making illegal content and doing things with this minor, and she apparently was a young'un, all right? But what's even more crazy is that there's now a clip going around of her basically saying that she's seen a woman be choked to death by accident. And according to the allegations, Andrew Tate was doing the choking quite a lot of the time. It's crazy. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch of things that have been going around. But firstly, I want to start with another Epstein connection.
And just to be clear, as I hear that, I'm not shocked. I'm not, obviously, he hasn't been charged with this. We can't go around saying, oh, he did it. But in hearing it, I'm not shocked. And that in itself should be a worry, because anyone hearing that about anyone else should be like, oh my God, I can't believe that person would do such a thing. And yet I bet all of you on this live stream right now, hearing that, oh, allegedly, apparently he accidentally choked someone out and that was it, you know, all of you are like, yeah, kind of, if you're like me, you're kind of like, yeah, it kind of makes sense. I'm not surprised that's now going to be added to his list of charges, perhaps, maybe, allegedly.
okay? Because it's so ironic that everybody said that Epstein files, Epstein's disgusting. If Epstein wasn't dead, we'd finally be taking him to justice. Well, funnily enough, now that Andrew Tate's in trouble, he's pointing the finger going, oh, well, they didn't do anything to Epstein, so surely trafficking's legal, right? Like, trafficking's just cool. Anyone can do it. If Epstein did it, no. But apparently, rumor has it is that there are actually Epstein connections within Andrew Tate's circle. So he might just be a few degrees of separation from Epstein. This one's going around. This is apparently from the War Room. It says, here's Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein's employee, Jacob Wohl, having a chat with Andrew Tate in the War Room about Ukrainian girls. Okay, that is insane. Look at this. This is an apparent chat. Tate's showing off some girls. He's saying, stole them from...
I'm going to big screen that for you guys because this is wild. I just want you to kind of see this little bit of dialogue here.
Odessa, which is in Ukraine, right? It's a war-torn area of Ukraine. That sounds like trafficking to me. It sounds like you're admitting to trafficking. Stole these girls. Okay, stealing girls. And Jacob Wohl says, fortunately, there's enough women here for me to have more sex than Genghis Khan. And then people are posting in reaction clips of Tate, like, smoking his cigar. And this is crazy. So they're saying that this guy was an employee of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And he clearly knows his trafficking. The average Eastern European beauty is 60 to 70% Slavic, 30% mix of Baltic, Balkan, and Scandinavian. By the way, I custom wrote an application that runs on Tinder, automatically swipes on girls, hot versus not, also scanning for trouble words like feminist in the bio. Then DMs them automatically to message me on Instagram. It's just a way of having a constant stream of women DMing me on Insta.
So these guys, like, notice how they go to the most war-torn and kind of like, you know, economically deprived regions, so that their money has a compounding effect. But also, is it wise to go somewhere where your money goes further? Yes, but look at the activity that goes behind it. This is a trafficking activity, and it's just yeah. Once again, if people do this individually, a lot of the time it's like, you know, what can you do about it? You know, they've done it on a one basis. It's a scummy thing to do, but it's the act, like I said before, of systematizing it, packaging it, reselling it to people. That's what really turns it into a crime that I'm happy to see punished, as opposed to, oh, he was just a bit misguided. If he did it for himself, he's like, you're a bit of a scumbag, but come on, man, like, this is a bit much. What are you doing? Why are you going after this guy? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just, you know, made an error, as opposed to, no, this guy is full on Epstein.
So it turns out the War Room, all right, Andrew Tate's War Room, which I guess was like the next level to his Hustlers University, sounds like it was Traffickers University. Sounds like it was a good old hangout for traffickers to share tips. And apparently this is a thing. Okay, people are saying, for those that don't know, the War Room was a grooming trafficking club that the Tate brothers started. They even held in-person trafficking classes with topics like isolation tactics for those paying the $5,000 plus War Room membership. What kind of people teach classes like this? Look at this clip, and there's a bunch.
And to be clear as well, another reason this doesn't surprise me is because obviously he has this Hustlers University where they pay $50 a month, and they have all of these kind of like generic, this is how you make money courses, here's a course in this whole. But if you're going to charge, and this is where they make obviously a lot of their real money, if you're going to charge $5,000 a head, okay, you have to be able to package something. And the reality is, the only product, the only business that Andrew Tate has ever built prior to obviously the Hustlers University itself and Andrew Tate brand, is the webcams business. So that's the business that he teaches. That's, if he's got to do a coaching course, which is what he's offering for $5,000, he has to coach people in something that he knows better than other people. And obviously what he knows better than other people is the webcams business, which unfortunately was a trafficking business. So that's what he's teaching. Every time he sits these people down and he says, this is how you do this, that, he's teaching them how to exploit, traffic, sometimes grapes, females. That's what he's doing. You know,
these. Bear in mind, this guy he claimed to be a pimp. He had a pimping host degree, and pimping is illegal. So is trafficking. This is insane. Look at this self-snitch. It's insane.
All the drama, she's got to have all the dreams. We're talking about soul walking. Everything has to come from you. All of it. She should have no outside influences on any level.
Can you talk about that? How has the restrictions and the boundaries you put on a woman in terms of who she can talk to, where she can go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you hear the guy sitting next to him? Hey, can you expand on that a little bit? How like the restrictions and the boundaries that you put on women so they can't escape the financial prison that you put them in. Help these guys, because there's a few of them who they'll hear you say it and they don't quite understand how to do it. So what do? Are you physically choking these women, or are you just, we put handcuffs on them? What's the means by which we can really enslave these females for our profit? That this is, I mean, and this also now puts these other guys in the frame as well. So you might start seeing that the Andrew Tate charges might start expanding out to his broader team, because this course is, as it sounds, illegal. Okay, this is an illegal course. And what's also really interesting is that this course is the natural progression of the manosphere. You guys know I'm against the manosphere and I'm against the red pill, because this ultimately is where it ends up. This is peak red pill. Yeah, this is peak manosphere. This is, this is final boss of the manosphere. Those people who are in the manosphere and they want to make a success out of it. So what do you do when you have all the money in the world, all the success in the world? What do? You exploit it. That's what they're doing. So it's not like, okay, it's not like the ultimate goal of these gurus in the manosphere is to find a wife, settle down, have kids, be happy. Yeah, build a family, start building your legacy, you know what I mean, raising your kid. Like, this is not what they're teaching. They're like, okay, cool, now that you've got all the money and the women are all looking at you, and now you've got all the attention, what you've got to do is you've got to have 5 or 6 girlfriends at the same time. And now you've got 5 or 6 girlfriends at the same time. Instead of just them actually being your girlfriends, why don't you make some profit off them? I think you should fly them out to this country. And then when you got these 5 or 6 girls, you tell them all that, hey, I'm effing all of you. And what's going to happen is you're all going to work for my business and you're all going to do this and you're going to do that. And then you make it so they can't fly back. And this is the final boss. Okay. So just think about that. If you're one of these people that are in the manosphere and red pill, this is where the line is building towards. This is where the track, the train track is heading. This is the final destination. You trafficking women. This is the apex of misogyny. This is where it ends up. The complete dehumanization of the female gender. That's what you're aiming towards.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that, about how, like, you do your trafficking and like how you take away people's free will and prevent them from, exercising their own free will and doing their own thing and basically, imprisoning them. Can you talk a little bit more about that, like your crimes? Like, talk a little bit about how specifically you do your crimes, could you? Yeah, absolutely. I'm very careful when talking like this. Why are you careful? What? Because it's crime.
So you have to be very careful this time. I'm very careful when I talk about this. I don't want to be autistic about it, right? But if you really want to truly solo a chick, she's yours. When I say she's yours, when she's facing with you, her family, your family. That's basically it. All right? If she has like a really
Do you think Justin Waller's fidgeting because he knows he's cooked?
strong social circle, and she really insists on seeing them, they're going to have a good influence over her. And it is in your best interest to get her away from that social circle.
It's in the
if she has a strong circle, that has influence on her, it's in your best influence to get her out of that strong circle. Yeah, not only is that kind of language going to be familiar to people who perhaps have had a cultish experience, that's kind of like cult experience. That is also very, very symptomatic of an abusive relationship. This is what abusive partners do. Okay, they're threatened by their partners having, strong friendships, strong relationships outside of them, because they want to be able to manipulate them. They want to be able to abuse them. Now he's teaching you how to do that en masse. Okay, this is literally the ingredient list of how to successfully emotionally, financially manipulate and entrap a female for your own profit. That's what he's teaching. Oh, well, I got to be careful about what I say here. And he's not, so that means he's not even given the full story. But none of this is legal. This isn't illegal or legitimate business. You can't talk about the manipulation of, sentient autonomous human beings in this way. It's not legal. You're not supposed to do that. This is what, this is like teaching a course in slavery. This it's not legal.
Best interest to get her away from her social circle because they'll have influence over her. What? Because they don't want her to be the victim of a crime that you're committing on her. Oh, okay.
So not so long. Right? We don't want her out. Whoever saying whoever. women can't shut the fuck up either. They'll talk their business. They'll give their side of the story only. You're a bad guy now. My husband wouldn't do that, even though the bitch is lying, she's trying to flex. You know, it gets in their head.
You're a bad guy now. My husband wouldn't do that. And so women giving them good advice, yeah, saying, hey, I think this person's exploiting you. If you were in a loving relationship, they wouldn't treat you like this. I think you should avoid this person. They sound like a disease. They sound like a plague. They're now being cast as wrongdoers because they're getting between you and your profit. They're getting between Andrew Tate and the money he wants to exploit from these women. So this is where evil is being cast as good. And this is the thing, a lot of people who are in these red pill circles really think they're fighting some kind of a righteous cause. You know, oh, fight back. Oh, you should agree. Oh, yeah, it's time for, oh, and they're so angry at women. It's like, dude, you are the evil one in this discussion. Yeah. It's not women minding their own business, just being women and not acting in the way that you think women should act. You want autonomy over them. You want to control them. You want to tell them what to do. You want to tell them how to act. You don't like their behavior. So rather than accepting the fact that, hey, this is how certain women behave, what you want to do is you want to demonize them and then put them in situations where their behavior alters to match the behavior that you're looking for. You are the demon in this situation. Okay, this isn't 50-50. You are the oppressive overlord in this. Okay, there's trying to paint women like, respectfully, keep looking until you find the kind of woman that you're after. Don't attack the ones that don't fit your puzzle, don't fit your pattern of what a woman should be shaped like in terms of her personality. That's got none of your friggin' business. Mind your own business and find someone. Find a doormat who doesn't mind being stepped on, doesn't mind you having multiple partners, yeah? Who doesn't mind you sleeping around because men can do it and women can't. You will find that woman, okay? Find that woman and find her as she is. Don't manipulate her. Don't take a good woman and then manipulate her into thinking that you're a good man and then become a piece of shit like Andrew Tate, because that makes you a friggin' demon. Do you understand?
Right, so you have to try and isolate them. And things we talked about thus far, like selling the dream, adding excitement, her never catching you slipping, all these things tying into isolate her and taking her away from the outside influences. Every outside influence trend, all of them. So when it comes to certain, there's certain hard rules, right? You don't get your camera reviews, that's a hard rule, it's an obvious one. But she's gonna insist on having her doing she's at her chick, right? That's the first one. She goes back down and twists and turns it up. Yeah, so from main chick, sides, all the way back down the bottom of it. And there are hosts. There's some chicks out there that are just hosts. I know some chicks who are fucking 15 out of 10. They're beautiful. I bang her and I see them. I know they do shit in hosts. I don't know if they're hosts. Those are hosts, right? So you just keep that right.
Hose a hose. You sound like a pimp. You sound like an illegal pimp doing illegal business of pimping.
But in terms of like isolating them from the friendship, it's not actually that difficult to do. Because women, people always call women mystery. I go hard to disagree with that. I think women will tell you anything you fucking want. You start coast out. They catch the fuck up. Catch the fuck up. You can sit there. Next time we're friends.
Okay.
And what you hear in the language is just the, like I've spoken about before, the total dehumanization of females. Okay, and obviously one of the reasons I'm very sensitive to the dehumanization of females is because I'm get that same energy, like I said, from white supremacists, where they completely dehumanize black people. This is the same thing that they do. And I'll reiterate once again, male supremacy lives in the same realm as white supremacy. Yeah, so people in the red pill are just male supremacists who want to have their way with, who want to justify their desire to have their way with the opposite sex by dehumanizing them. And then by dehumanizing them, their maltreatment of that group, that out group, becomes justified. And that's exactly what white supremacy, that's exactly what racism does. It's let's dehumanize these out groups. And then that dehumanization of them then justifies our maltreatment of them. It means we can steal their land. It means we can grapes them. It means we can do whatever we want. It means we can call them the N-word on the street and pull out a gun and unalive and do X, Y, and Z. It means you can do anything you like to them because hey, they are lesser than, they deserve it, they're not human. It's the same, it's two sides of the same coin.
Okay, so that's great. That's really good. We'll put that in the evidence locker for you admitting to your crimes. Brilliant. Okay, so next up, all right, not that I'm particularly fond of Sneeko, but Sneeko, you know what I'm saying? This broken clock is definitely being right a couple times each day. And Sneeko basically is reacting to more examples of Tate snitching on himself. And, you know, shout out to Sneeko for bringing this to our attention, even though he was gobbling these guys up, all right? Back in the day when it suited him. Now it doesn't suit him. He's hating on them. But, you know, a lot of...
By the way, before this plays, I absolutely abhor Sneeko. I hate him. Okay, and for obvious reasons, guys, you'll see a rule of thumb: if people dislike black people, i.e., if people are just racist or anti-black, then there's almost a one-to-one chance that I'm going to hate them, and I'm not going to have any grace in my spirit for them. I'm not going to be able to see the positive attributes that they have. I'm not going to. I'm sorry. When you're anti-black to me, you're the enemy. You're the devil, and I don't want to know what your redeeming qualities are. And I'm going to be very happy when you get taken down and taken out. And Sneeko's on that list for me. He's anti-black, so I don't care what happens with him. I don't agree with anything that he says. I don't even want to try and listen to anything that he says. He's my enemy, just like Andrew Tate is my enemy. Just like a lot of these people are my enemies. When you're anti-black, that's the side that you're on. Okay, to be clear, yeah, that's how I roll. Yeah, that's how I roll.
Of us thought Andrew Tate was a creep from the start. It says Sneeko reacts to Andrew Tate bragging on the Nelk podcast about manipulating lonely men into falling in love, taking out loans, and even selling their homes for his cam girl business. Now, what you're going to hear is Tate talking about committing fraud. This is actually fraud. Andrew Tate. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in for me behind the screen. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't even plugged in. Me and my brother, eventually, some staff I trained, did all the talking. We were taking their money, all of it. Let's just hear what they have to say because we can see this in its full explanation.
So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. Ooh. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. Oh. The girls were just famoosers, just laughing and doing this, the titties out. And they were talking to fucking ice cold hustlers.
Ice cold. This is what the Matrix fears. Yeah. Jerk off. Yes. You're coming now. I'm a hot girl.
In fairness, I did always think this part of the Andrew Tate story was weird when it's like, yeah, I'm the one who does all the messaging. And he's sitting there messaging dudes like, someone is at that point asking, oh, could you give us an example of some of the messages that you send? What's the average message you would send to the to a masturbating male who's on the other side? Oh, well, what I'd say is I'm what would you say, Andrew Tate? Yeah, could you quote that to me? You're trying to make it sound like, yeah, ice cold. I was like, dude, you're literally talking filth to men. Oh man, sorry. I'll let this play out anyway. Like I said, I don't like Sneeko, but he does make a couple of decent jokes here. Trigger warning and obviously explicit language warning.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was wondering whether or not I should even say this, but I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it very carefully. I don't have any problem with anybody's sexual preference. If you're gay, if you're straight, if you're anything else, if you're any other gender, I really don't have a problem with it. You do you, all right? I don't have a problem with it. But at the end of the day, Tate is the icon of masculinity. He's so straight. He hates anything gay. He's always talking about this is gay, that's gay. There's nothing wrong with being gay, but sexting men is kind of gay. Like Andrew Tate over here sexting men.
The Matrix fears traditional masculinity. Come now. I'm so horny right now. Ha.
We were taking their money, all of it.
Helping guys nut is kind of gay. Nothing wrong with that, Tate. There's actually nothing. I don't judge you. That's okay. And I'm sure you're going to do great in the federal detention center. But like, bro, you helping dudes get a nut.
They come and say, what kind of, all of it.
Yeah, dude, that's so base. Everyone at the Nut Boys. Yeah, sick, bro. Yo, you made guys hard. Dude, that's like super full send, dude.
They come and say,
yeah,
all of it. We were fucking milking them dry. Women haven't.
We were milking them. We were milking their cocks all day long in the PhD.
Clue how to.
Explicit language warning, guys.
Look, I don't rate Sneeko, right? But he on point with this one. I might need to move myself so you can see him because the way he that last one sent me full. Just that, right? But it's like, yo, like, you know, you take a stone cold hustler, you put him in a women's avatar. What? Wait, Tate, what are you trying to say? You say you dress them up like a woman. I could dress up like a woman. I could make it go.
I think the point being made here that's important is that Andrew Tate is admitting to sending messages, yeah, to, and it's the dichotomy between that and which he teaches. You know, he teaches this, but then his actions are that. You know, it's kind of like everything he does is kind of contradictory.
Wait. You said what? You said I just make myself into, you know what I'm saying? I doll myself up. I make myself look like a sexy woman. I make these guys nut. I'm milking them dry, dressed like a woman. Like, wait. You're pretending to be a woman milking guys dry. I nothing wrong. I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. All right.
Cold. And you believe, I don't care.
I'm skipping.
Bragging about
I've
it.
had enough of
This is what the Matrix is. I feel bad because we have Happy Dad. Like,
So I'm just gonna skip over. I've had enough of sneakers. So I want to get to the other charge that Andrew Tate is being accused of. 1 second. All right, so let's get back to around here.
Doing the reverse Rock Nation in front of the courthouse and shit. But that was hilarious, and he's on point with this one. I'm not going to lie, he was actually on point with that one. So let's continue down the wormhole of self-snitching depravity. Okay, this is some more quotes from the Traffickers University. I mean, the War Room, where he's basically just doing more bragging about trafficking, and basically he admits that he's evil. All right, he said, "You literally trafficked women and bragged about it. I almost sound evil." All right, this is another element. Since she moved, she's been fed, but nothing else. And then he posts the messages. I don't think we're able to see this. It says, I think it says VPN for the new phones. What is that?
Since she moved, she's been fed, but nothing else. That's diabolical. That is like horrendous. She's broke and she can't go home and she can't leave the house. Man, I almost sound evil. That's what it says, and that's on the message rooms of what he teaches. So this is really not a good human being.
Did it take the money? Did it take the money? VPN for the new phones. Oh man, that's too small. Can I zoom into that? Ain't no way. You just try and zoom again. Basically, it says VPN for the phones. He's isolating this woman. It says giving phone, then going. Let's say do check cars that are outside. Ibis, maybe.
And also, I want to add a human element to this as well, because a lot of these women, you know, he's flown them out. So this is the big thing about the crimes. He flies them out and they think, oh, I'm going on a holiday, yeah, with my boyfriend or with a guy that's really interested in me. So he's like, oh yeah, Bulgaria or whatever. And he gets them out to these rancid Eastern European nations. And then when he gets them there, he kind of drops this bombshell on them. Before they know it, they're kind of like in this whirlwind where they're kind of like caught up in this world where they're working for him. And as you can see, you know, they're just literally slaving for him so that he can make profit. And just for a moment, I want you guys, because I think empathy is a hugely important thing that we engage in as human beings. Because sometimes we can just read these things, and sometimes we can hear this class of people, these current people running the world, these Epsteins, these politicians that we have in the UK, they engage in stuff so regularly that's so ultimately heinous that we are so desensitized as a population. We can hear about things going on, wars going on, and it just goes over our head. You know, 100 children killed or unalived in America's first attack in Iran, and we kind of hear about it. We go, oh yeah, we get on with our lives. We don't even mourn for 10 seconds. We just go, oh, that's really horrible, and we get on with our life. If we even say that, some people just hear it. It's like, okay, well, it wasn't my school, so it is what it is. But I think it's good sometimes to put yourself in someone's position and just think about like how the fear. A lot of people will be like, oh, they're stupid, they shouldn't have gone, blah, 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 blah. They thought they'd get the free holiday. Ha, 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 ha. He's making all the money now. But it's like, think about how some of these women will feel in this situation where they've kind of like, they're in this strange place and they're doing this work for this guy. They don't really feel like they can leave. Some of them might not even have the money for the return flight. Like, do you understand? Like, this is like really heinous. This is literally right up there. This is Epstein level behavior. And this is what he's engaged in. And this is what he's teaching. So just having a bit of empathy, just put yourself in that position for a moment to think how you would feel, or someone that you love, you know, a child or a cousin or a niece or something who's been put in this situation. Just sometimes I think it's worthwhile doing that. I think we should always try to exercise empathy to keep ourselves kind of like grounded as human beings, because you can get fatigued with how evil this world is sometimes. And sometimes you do just need to kind of like re-engage yourself in terms of what's happening. Deliberately make yourself, you know, feel horrible about something, make yourself feel bad about something, engage in that kind of like feeling of empathy, so you don't get you know, you don't get desensitized and completely, you know, buy into the dehumanization of other people.
To the hotel. Says Yasmin has no money, right? Something about being broke? What she said about being broke? Yes, she was waiting for you to give her a card. He says, I'm sure the man. He said she's mentioned having his cash. Yeah. I think it says she hasn't said it straight, but she was asking for something. Asking for I don't know what details, maybe, or something. So he said another element, since she's been moved, she's been fed, but nothing else. She's broke and she can't go home and she can't leave the house. Man, I almost sound evil, but I'm not. I'm a shepherd leading the sheep. She doesn't realize that following me makes life better from her. That's trafficking. I've trafficked her. She can't.
And that's the cope as well. This is the cope. Oh, we know. Ultimately, what I'm doing is good, you know, because ultimately what I'm doing is going to make her life better. Really? Is it? You know, once again, it's that same kind of talking point, that same WS talking point. You know what I mean? Oh, well, we may like, imagine if we didn't colonize Africa, it would have been a SHITO by now, you know. Imagine if we didn't take those blacks into slavery, they'd still be in Africa, you know, eating each other. That's the kind of, it's that line of reasoning where nothing that the in-group ever does is classified as evil. You can never turn around and say, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. No, never. It's always right.
I'll go home and she can't leave the house. I'm going to say, there's no evidence. There's no evidence on the Tates. This is evidence. But I see I'm seeing, looks like evidence to me. So it goes on to basically say, I'm going to shoot for work, need to have her very committed to combat these convictions. And someone said, yeah, that isolation is critical. This is PhD warden, all right? Traffic warden. I have no experience in this realm yet, but I would try a good cop, bad cop ruse, act deeply hurt by her refusal, flip it on her and get her to start feeling guilty or cry. Yeah, manipulate her, right? Make her feel sad. Then I'll have my bottom bitch ask why she's upset, tell her how religious she used to be and how easy and fun camming is. Again, never had to do anything like this, but maybe it works. Again, no idea what the fuck I'm doing, but why don't you try this?
Oh my God. So this is like disgusting if you're reading it. Sorry. So this is people who are literally being talked into the camming business. Do you understand? So this is he's taken what might be, I can't say, but he's just taken people who may have never thought about doing that kind of business before, who may have never even thought it was okay to do it. And now he's warming them to it. You know, they're saying, oh yeah, what I'll do, this is what I'll do to manipulate my blah, blah, blah. And then I take my, this is like, it's just disgusting to read. It is absolutely disgusting to read, man.
Torture manipulation technique on one of the girls you're trafficking. Tate, the king trafficker, he says, close, I'm going to add a layer of separation. We'll use Geo as the bottom bitch and pretend I don't care either way, and she can attack me for tricking her, scamming, frauding, trafficking her. She looks super adamant about not doing this, even made bullet points. I still bet yes because you're a G, but it would be super impressive to see it in action. She knows already you F other girls. He said yes. And then this is apparently a massive message from her, I guess, saying that she doesn't want to do webcamming. She doesn't want to be trafficked and forced into S work by Andrew Tate. He says, forced or anything but because I wanted and felt myself that it's the right thing to do. At the same time, I have a few things, very few, but rules I can't break, bruh. Because I'm old-fashioned. I do believe in God. I've never sent a picture of me in lingerie ever. I made a promise to God and myself that I will keep it. I will never do video chat or OF because my body is intimate and only my husband should be able to touch and see. If I give you my love, I'm expecting the same thing back. The man I love should not hit me or beat me up. And this is it. If these 4 things are respected when it comes to me, there's no way we can have a fight. You're with the wrong man, love. That's actually heartbreaking because this is a man that will allegedly do that across all your life.
And that is heartbreaking because this also, that just listening to that counteracts that entire narrative that these girls they all wanted it. You know, this is what they'll say, oh well, what were they doing there? They all wanted it. This is a girl who, from what I can hear, sounds like she's been raised right. Okay, she has moral standards. She doesn't send out her, you know, her uncovered body to, and if you do that, I'm not saying you deserve the Andrew Tate treatment, by the way, but this is a girl who, by all standards, sounds like she makes the right choices in terms of how she wants to pursue having a relationship, and she wants to have a family, etc. And he's trying to coerce her into, you know, sex work. Yeah, this guy is a proper proper predator.
I listen when I have to. I'm quiet when I'm supposed to. I'm definitely dedicated on being a good wife, waking you up in the morning with fresh coffee and a meal. All yours and forever. This is the way I was raised. Had this on my heart the whole day, so I had to say it. You're the perfect man for me and the man that I've been dreaming to meet and have a family with since I was a kid. Now it's your turn to decide if this thing's changed the way you see me or if I'm still the woman you want to spend your life with. I do. Do you? This is the lover boy method, all right? I'm so in love with you, I just don't want to do webcam, all right? Update on the two girls living together. If anyone doesn't know the story, ask the guys here to find it for you. So I told my girl to send me a picture and she said this. Sounds like a hard target for Cam or OF, right? So let's take bets. Will I get her to work? Anonymous poll. No, too much hassle. F that bitch. Yes, somehow. He's in here doing votes, doing a poll, doing a sweepstake on if he can convince this woman to be trafficked. Literally bragged about it, right? So
yeah. It's even hard to watch this video, man. Seriously, it's even how you don't get more criminal than this, man. Really, when it comes to like, this is, yeah.
it's crazy. So in addition to that, there's more evidence of him telling on himself. He apparently outright threatened to R-word somebody. Apparently, in the WhatsApp messages that were found on his phone, he sent to one of his accusers that had accused him of the R-word, said, I might R-word you again. And said, as Tate was being arrested, he attempted to hand his phone to one of his security guards, but it fell on the floor and was picked up by a marshal. Wah, wah, wah. For those who continue to defend this guy, yes, we all believe in the concept of innocent till proven guilty. These messages may not be a conviction, but surely you can see what an utter lowlife he is. Facts. So this is what's interesting. This was his original response when his bottom B, Vivian, was exposed for being a young'un. All right. It said, he basically said, this is what Andrew Tate posted when people pointed to proof of, including of Andrew himself, claiming that she was a minor. A month later, he was charged with allegedly trafficking her as a minor. He never did produce her passport. At the time, he said, let them post she's 14. So when I bring her and her passport to court, everyone's paying me. Everyone. Well, it's going to be tough, right? Because we've seen this.
Got my main bitch, my bottom bitch, Vivian. Vivian's younger. So yeah, that's how it started. I met Vivian in Slovakia. We had a long-term relationship thing. I was living in England. I moved her to England to be with me to start doing my webcam company. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Vivian's like 21. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. Vivian's like 21. Vivian's younger. I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women.
So, and this is where the charge for illicit photos of minors comes in as well. So that charge comes in because he's clearly not only sourcing, pursuing, grooming these minors. From what we can see on the war room, he'll try to seek getting photos of them, you know, in compromising attire or no attire whatsoever, and having those photos. And when you're someone like him who likes to skirt the borderline, it's almost guaranteed that a few of these were minors, and that's where he's got that charge. Okay, once again, no trumped up charges. Yeah, this is what this dude does. Yeah, this is his playbook.
18-year-old women, whatever the law is. Got my main bitch.
Whatever the law is. This guy said there's no crime, there's no evidence. He doesn't even know the laws he's breaking. Do you know pimping's illegal, right? Forget the minors. But basically, he's talking about, yeah, you know my main girl Vivian that I trafficked from Slovakia when she was a minor and convinced me in love with me using the illegal loverboy method of trafficking. You're a fucking idiot. Okay, this guy's a moron and he's cooked. All right, when are we gonna wake up to this? So there's some very damning and explicit evidence from the Romanian case files. I want to be careful what I show you and tell you on this. I'm gonna give you guys a trigger warning. I don't condone any of the things that I'm gonna mention in this. I might even just skip this, to be honest.
So 1 second. So come up, open up.
I'll let you do that, yeah.
Why are you leaving? I'm asking.
No, I'm not leaving right now. I was going to tell you today. I'm going to go to his match on Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, so you're not going?
Yeah, I'm not going, but I'm going to still go to gymnastics today.
Okay, cool. What time are you finish gymnastics?
I'm going to go to gymnastics at like 6.
Okay, I'll do that. Cool. So like that, let's carry on.
I don't condone any of this. I'm telling you this for journalistic purposes to give you a full picture in the public interest of what is being discussed in this case that is currently going to be playing out in the public courts. It's in the public interest for you guys to know this, to warn you guys about these trafficking methods. Don't condone them. Don't support them. I condemn Andrew Tate. I think he's a piece of dirt. His actions are abhorrent, and I'm only telling you this for documentary purposes, and there's going to be some tough themes coming forward. I'm hoping.
Also, once again, I'll just re-emphasize, trigger warning. Okay, guys, this is not going to be everyone's taste, but it is what it is. Let's see.
That makes it very clear. my position on this, because I've been in trouble with YouTube recently because apparently I'm the same as an abuser by talking about these things and reporting on them and holding these people to account, which is nonsense. But anyway, with all of that in mind, okay, it says, for people openly defending the Tates and insisting they shouldn't even face trial, let's not forget the extensive evidence uncovered and released during the still ongoing Romanian investigation. The prosecution recovered conversations between Tate's alleged victims discussing alleged abhorrent acts on a underage person who refers to it as when I was little, as in a little girl. The prosecution alleged she was 3 years under 18. This isn't TikToks or uncomfortable political statements making some corrupt government that want to take him down. These are conversations found on the phone of a young woman in Romania as part of an extensive case file. Tell you what, I'm going to observe these and I'm going to tell you some things, and then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to read it in its exact entirety because I don't want to get in trouble. But basically what this says is the Romanian court made the following observation regarding Andrew Tate and a victim that's 3 years under 18. The judge shows that unlike the other defendants, besides the fact that he was the leader of the criminal group with no I haven't seen this is mental. No activity took place without Tate's agreement or knowledge as the leader of the criminal group. In this case, there's a reasonable suspicion the defendant had illegal relations with somebody 3 years under 18. The effects of these SAs were still being felt in the victim's psyches. Aspects that result from the conversation of the named blank with another lady. Somebody said, and you take her so young, you fool her and make her your slave. F you. And anyway, think about it, bro. When I was little, I did bad stuff. He did bad. I can't even say. He did bad, really bad stuff. Man, this is fucked up. I was telling him, stop, bro. Well, that's what I'm saying. I already have so many regrets. I can't anymore. Man, this is so bad. I'm not going to say. They're saying he did something physical that made her lose consciousness, and then did other things. Yeah, no, that's fucked. That's fucked. So after that, there's another segment. It says,
when it gets to the point when you can't even read stuff out, this is the levels, and these aren't imaginary or non-existent people. These are people that Tate has talked about. Okay, these are accessible, and obviously many of them of the identities are being kept from him. Many of them are being protected from him because he's someone with means, and that's the thing. When you have these people with means, and he is a very when it comes to means, he's not in any way like short on his access to finances. He's incredibly, he might not be in the billionaire class, but he's certainly in the tens to hundreds of millionaire class. So he has the means to get what he needs. I'd say hundreds of millions of plus, actually. And he has the means to get what he needs done. If it's intimidation, all of those things. And so that's why, he's had difficulty getting names of victims, etc. It's not because they're trumped up, it's because they can't be exposed for obvious reasons. And obviously with his crowd of manosphere idiots who will go and do all the harassing for him, and who will make people's lives hell, as they do in the right, as the alt-right and the far right do in any cases when it comes to kind of like racial issues. The manosphere do it in any cases when it comes to their so-called heroes being charged with crimes that they've committed.
Plaintiffs have tacitly admitted that the present case is part of their strategy to avoid prosecution in Romania by harassing the Jane Doe into recanting her testimony. That's horrible. For her to be subjected to that stuff as a young'un and then to be harassed into recanting her testimony is disgraceful. The plaintiffs and their counsel stated that they believe what happens in this case influences the Romanian criminal case. For example, so I'm guessing this is a civil case against her. For example, Tristan Tate has publicly stated on social media he plans to use this case to prove he's innocent to the public, regardless of whether he's convicted in Romania. And then it's got tweets of basically a full 14-minute breakdown of how important his Florida decision is to his case. Also a message to the Romanian authorities what it means to the country. Plaintiff's attorney Danny McBride explained in the interview that his goal is deposing Jane Doe so she drops out of the Romanian. This is disgusting. This is so horrific. I can't believe what I'm reading, and this is insane. So there's another segment here. It says, related to the same aged and the same victim of the same age, that Tate is also criminally charged for trying to bribe her in order to change her phone with a new phone provided to him before going to speak to the prosecutors and lying to them. This is a quote of the statement she gave to prosecutors. According to the order, the redacted age victim, Andrew Tate is alleged to have done bad stuff to, was named blank, and it's quoted, also I specify that when we did adult stuff, Andrew was often aggressive with me in the sense that he, I'm not going to say it, but like physically harmed to the point where I wasn't unaware of, what I'm saying, not it's horrible, awful stuff. Okay, I'm going to move on.
So not only is he getting them young, admittedly, okay, he's also, treating, this is someone who doesn't view them as human beings. I think that's the one thing that's come through very, very clearly is that, and I think this is one of the things that makes that entire space so dangerous, and they don't want to admit it, is they don't view it's nothing wrong with analyzing relationships, analyzing your position in society, trying to understand what's going to make you be more successful in relationships, etc., etc. But when clearly the formula is that you start using pejorative terms to describe an entire gender, like half of the world's population, and you start to view them as not being as great as you, because I'm a man, we're this, and women are here and men are here. I mean, we're equal, but we're different, and we're here. We're the ones who do X, Y, and Z, and they're all deceptive and they're all manipulative and they don't care. But that's dehumanizing language. Okay, it means you just don't understand that women are as nuanced and as different as men are, and as everybody in this world is. Some men are assholes, some women are assholes, some women are great, some men are great, some, it's all of that nuance that exists cross gender, yeah, and exists across race, and it just exists. That's the point. And when you're part of these cults, because that's what the red pill philosophy is, when you become a part of these cults that manipulate your mindset into believing that these people aren't human, then don't be surprised if you find yourself grabbing someone's throat, when you've reached that point of success. Most of you are heading that way, just like many of those far right people who do dehumanize people with my hue end up pew-pewing schools or committing heinous crimes. It always ends up in the extreme. Yeah, any of these ideologies you're always going to end up being in the extreme. That's the destination that you're heading towards.
I'm going to really insult Andrew Tate in this next bit because I think it's really funny to just explain like how horrible he is and why he is so disgusting. And part of it is his despicable shit stain of a father. So Andrew Tate's father, right? This is interesting. This is his hero. Says the Tate's dad was crap. He apparently was abusive towards the mother, including serial cheating and physical abuse. He was gone for months at a time on gambling junkets, often unemployed for long periods where the mum had to scrape and scratch to keep food on the table. Imagine the hard-suffering mum that had to deal with these two clowns, and they're idolizing the father, all right? And then to see the way that they grew up to treat women is despicable. Tate said that his dad used to tell him stories about how he abused and beat women, and the women still loved him anyway. They took all of their dad's malfeasant behavior and superimposed a fantasy superhero dad in their heads that was some kind of uber masculine, swashbuckling Don Juan chess master genius hustler. They were mimicking a faux masculinity fantasy, living a...
See, this is the thing when it comes to the blaming of Andrew Tate's dad, which is just a cope, yeah? The Tate brothers are shit. Okay, that's what they are. Okay, they're that all by themselves, and you can't blame, like, you don't even know what the nature of the father was, what the nature of the relationship was. You might get little tidbits here and there, but you haven't got some in-depth biography to make this judgment. And I feel like in some ways this is a bit of a cope, because obviously you have the white mother and the black dad, and I'm not saying that's the only reason this is being said, but I'm also saying that is some of the reason why this is being presented. We don't need to go to the Tate's parents to say that their behavior is shit. When do we pathologize? Has anyone tried to pathologize Epstein's parents? Have you ever seen that before? Think about that. I've never seen anyone try and say, oh, well, Epstein had no choice because his dad was that. Elon Musk's dad is a friggin' apartheid South Africa. And he's right there for everyone to see. And even in the case of Elon Musk, no one goes, oh, he's only like that because of his dad. It's like, no, he is just a piece of shit by himself. Okay, so it's funny how you get all of these other people. No one talked about Gary Glitter's dad or Jimmy Savile's dad, or name the list of Rolf Harris's dad, or name the list of convicted serial preds that we have in the UK and in the US. I've never heard anyone blaming their parent for it. But in this situation where we have the Tates who everybody knows it's their black dad. Now all of a sudden we have the explanation for their horrendous behavior. Oh, it was their dad. It's all his fault. Like I ain't trying to hear all that. Yeah, I'm not trying to hear all that. You ain't gonna put these two little racist, anti-black shitheads crimes down on their black dad. We ain't gonna be doing that. Yeah, this is some nonsense. Yeah, this is some BS. They're pieces of shit because they're pieces of shit. That's the end of the discussion. Do you know what I mean? We don't need to start blaming parents for how these kids turned out because he was abusive. He was a serial cheater. Did he traffic? No. Did he commit any of these crimes that they committed? No. Okay. A lot of people have dads that are a bit crap, yeah, and they don't end up doing what the Tate brothers did. So respectfully, you can miss me with this BS.
Vicarious version of a sick man. I'm hearing their dad was just a fucking loser. He had no bread. He was broke. He was living off these chicks. Never around for his kids.
And that can happen. Okay. But there's a lot of people who don't end up like the Tates.
Abusive, just a real piece of shit. And it's funny, right? Because now he's saying, now that he's locked up, he's chatting about, he's talking to his dad. All right. He's talking to his dad in his head. He's losing it, talking to his shit stain of a dad. This is so funny. We walk back and forth in the cell together all day long. I haven't heard him so clearly in years. He's been in here since the day I arrived, and dad tells me to never give up. Dad was never around when he was fucking alive. Now he's popped up. Now he's popped back when you need him, right? Like, where was he when you was a kid? Where was he for your mums? Like, your dad was a fucking loser. And it's so funny, right? Because all of this is so funny, right? Listen to this. He loves his dad.
I think people are so quick and so easy to lap up this narrative. The dad. This is such a perfect narrative for even this guy here. I'm not a fan of this guy here who's talking. Yeah, but they're so quick to notice how they're so quick to jump on and lap up this narrative. It's so convenient and so great for these guys when one of their heroes ends up being who they propped up. By the way, Andrew Tate was propped up almost entirely by the white community. Okay, he peddled his message to the white community. His entire support base was basically white. Okay, I'm not saying he didn't have appeal amongst blacks, but he was anti-black. His message was anti-black. He's made many anti-black posts. He said things openly that are just outright racist against the black community, which is obviously the reason that I can't stand him more than anything. But look how they're lapping this up. Look how they're lapping. Oh, we can put all the crimes. Oh, it wasn't really the Tates. I mean, it was their dad. It was their. So wait a second. So the dad was absent from their lives, and it's his fault. If the dad was present in their lives, they'd still say it was his fault. So dad being absent and a shit dad means it's his fault that they're serial predators. Yeah, but dad being present, yeah, and not being perfect, it would also be his fault. Isn't it funny how it's just all fallen on the random black guy who happens to be? It's not none of all of these other guys that are in the picture. No one's talking about Justin Waller, whatever his name is. All these other no. It's the Tate's dad. It's that random black guy. He's the reason that this is happening. This is so perfect. I mean, look at the glee in his face as he's talking about. Yeah, it was just the dad. They can't help it. It's on a subconscious level. They always will literally just they're like flies to shit when it comes to blaming a black person. They just can't help it. Say, oh yeah, I'm lapping this up. This is the one. Yeah. It's the dad. Give me strength.
That's his idol of a father who's a fucking loser, right? He idolized his father so much. He didn't even go to his dad's funeral. He was too busy trafficking women to go to his dad's funeral. This is true. He admits this. He said, I was too busy trafficking hoes to go to my own idol of a father's funeral.
Do I fly to his funeral? And then what's going to happen is I'm going to blow all my money. I'm going to be away for weeks. These girls are new. They're going to vanish. They're in Romania on their own. They don't know anyone here. They're going to want to go.
All the girls I've trafficked are going to escape if I go to my dad's funeral. So fuck it.
They don't know anyone here. They're going to want to go home. Or do I suck it up and focus on my business?
Focus on my trafficking.
They're going to vanish.
I got to focus on my trafficking. This guy is a clown. So look, this is the part you've all been waiting for. This is the craziest thing. Actually, no, sorry. This is the craziest thing. I'm going to get the right link. So this is his bottom B, who apparently was trafficked from Slovenia when she was a young'un to the UK. And I have a high suspicion that this is going to be a lot of what the UK charges about this woman. And it's sad because she's a victim, but I feel like she is, unfortunately, as we've seen in the Jeffrey Epstein case of a lot of his girlfriends, she's a victim who then went on to victimize other people on his behalf. And it's very, very sad. But anyway, all right, people saying this is Vivian. Andrew Tate groomed her when she was 4 years under 18. She casually mentioned how she witnessed guys accidentally killing women by choking them. She jokes about words, then bops her head to the music. She's disassociating and very mentally messed up at this point. Now, before I play you this, when she says she witnessed guys accidentally killing women by choking them, who do you think she's talking about? And then cast your memory back to the fact that she was rocking with Tate when she was a minor, all right, and was trafficked from, what, Slovakia? So she ain't got too much other experience. And we know that Tate is controlling that his girls aren't allowed to talk to other men. So who do you think she's talking about when she says she witnessed guys? How many guys do you think she witnesses in this context? Not many, I would imagine. I wonder who she's talking about. Listen to this.
That's the reasoning behind like why some girls don't like it, because they're scared they're gonna die. I've actually seen some guys actually accidentally, how funny is that? Actually accidentally killed their girlfriends during the sex because they were choking them that hard.
And this is the thing. This is what I was talking about earlier, guys, about making sure that your conscience isn't worn down to a nub. Okay, turning on your empathy when you can, and remaining human in this world where people are just vile. Because you can get to a point where you're so fatigued and so, desensitized, so normalized to monstrous things like what this girl's just mentioned, that it just goes over your head. You're like, oh, I can't function feeling something about everything. But try to take some time out on a daily basis to try and feel a little something for someone, because you will truly end up going insane in this world where we have so much access to so much evil.
That was chilling. That was chilling. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And how many other people do you, like, you're apparently not, like, he doesn't let these women out. He traffics them and then locks them in the house. He can't even go.
And the reason why you kind of know it's going to be Andrew Tate as well is because in what other scenario is she going to be present when someone is having, intercourse with their partner, other than the Andrew Tate situation where, she's the person who's actually trafficked that person over. It's probably him.
He can't even attend his own father's funeral because he said he said they'll escape if he goes to his own father's funeral. It's absurd. And so she's talking about, I've seen guys accidentally kill their girlfriends, and then we're hearing all this testimony that he's choking all these, like a bunch of these women are getting choked out. It's just horrific. And I think, I wonder, I'm going to do another video on this.
And that's like, it gets really dark, but I can believe this. I'm just sorry, like I can believe this. So there's nothing here that sounds like it's outside the realm of his behavior.
But I believe there is actually evidence of Tate basically sort of jokingly saying that he's like got a body or something. Look at this. Look at this video, right? Sure, he sounds like he's joking, but realistically, who jokes like this? We've heard a lot of people make jokes that turned out to be true.
You may do it with the little controller. I'm doing it out here for real on the street.
So you're playing like Fortnite for real?
Life is a video game.
Andrew, have you ever killed someone?
Then what's this Twitch, bro? I can't be saying certain things on Twitch.
So that's a yes.
Not a yes, it's not a no. You may do it.
It's not a yes, it's not a no. Okay. So it just makes you wonder, right? Obviously, this guy been a flight risk, okay, because he's been ducking alleged.
Even if he was saying that for clout, what kind of clout? What kind of human being makes a statement like that for clout? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, well, even if you're saying it for clout, what kind of person says something like that for clout? Is that your hero? Is this your God? Is this your king? In the words of the great and mighty Killmonger, is this your king? In the words of Menelaus, you left me for this? Like, is this the guy that you're risking it all for, that you're putting your reputation on the line, that you're fighting on forums for? Andrew Tate, like he stopped being a functional human being a long time ago. I'm telling you that, guys. You know what I mean? He's left the realm. Yeah, his conscience lives somewhere else. He is a part of that class. Yeah, he's a gray. Yeah, he's a gray, he's a lizard, he's a visiting alien, whatever you want to call that class of people. That's where he belongs. He just happens to be one with an extremely large mouth.
Charges. But it's like, when I start seeing that he's got 7 passports, it starts to make me think, like, bro, you might actually have a body. Like, you might actually be a murderer. You might be a whole murderer out here and just be covering it up. It's like, clips like this are the reason why the Tate twins are considered a high-level flight risk, and they've been cited in the legal documents filed against them. This is crazy.
I have 7 passports. I have 15 driver's licenses. So let's say I'm driving my car and police stop me, I'll just pull out a license from some random country. I'm in Romania. I'm driving a Slovakian plated car. I've got an American driver's license. I've got an Estonian passport, and I'm speaking English. Like, you think they're going to take my license, or they're just going to look at me and go, just slow down, bro, bye. If the paperwork's not worth it for them. I like the idea of freedom, and freedom is basically achieved by having enough documents so that no one country can stop you from moving.
And keeping freedom is achieved by not telling the whole world and recording and selling your crimes at every opportunity. It's like he's just like, he gets home, he lists all the crimes he's committed, and then he records a vlog for each one and uploads it as a lesson on Hustler University. So
he's honestly, like, I don't know for sure. He's got murderer energy. And look, I don't know this 100%. I'm going to dig into this a little bit more. But I just swear I remember in his heyday, he had some clip where he's talking about being tapped in with the Romanian mafia and gangsters in Romania and all these casino business he's got going on. Like, I swear there's an old clip where he's talking about, you know, like, as a man, sometimes you got to go to war, sometimes you got to have someone killed or something like that. Like, I don't know. I just wonder. I'm not saying outright he definitely has murdered anyone. I definitely don't want to say that. I want to get in trouble. But just in my opinion, he looks like somebody that could be capable of catching a body. And I think it's just chilling to now look back at all of.
Well, look, at the end of the day, he was asked the question straight up, have you caught a body? And his response was, I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no. So as far as I'm concerned, then the accusations are absolutely fine, because he said, I'm not going to say no, which means yes. Yeah. If you refuse to deny it, then that means you have. Yeah. So, you know, even if he hasn't, and he just said that for clout, he has obviously, with that very conspicuous response, made himself open to these kinds of allegations being made. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share with you guys a little update regarding Mr. Tate and some of the more horrific ends of the crimes that he's committed. I was somewhat kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, but then when I heard it, I was like, but it sounds like he's very capable of doing it. So I just want to see what you guys thought. Let me know in the chat, in the comments. Hit the likes up, by the way, if you're here. I'm going to end the stream now. But leave a comment, leave a thought. Let me know what you're thinking about this. I don't even mind if you don't care, because someone said, Yodon said, white boy BS not worth our time. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate some people's got to feel that way. But I wanted to do a live stream, and I was literally watching this on my phone. And I thought, let me just watch this live, because I don't want to watch it twice. So this is just to be an opportunity for me to watch this content with you guys and have it uploaded so that the King Mono show has something new up there. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I hope it, you know, as much as you can enjoy hearing about a piece of crap like Andrew Tate. Make sure you leave a comment, hit the likes, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.